So wonderful for the retail and hospitality designer. So lighting is always the main role, and it's crucial also. So now it's time to pass the mic. I'd like to invite Prachi and Amrita to take over. Our girls gang is here and they're gonna rock the stage. Please welcome Prachi.
Good evening, everyone. Me and Amruta would be playing a introduction game with you all. So let's start with the presentations. We'll start with Arclane Design Studio. Arclane Design Studio is a multidisciplinary firm that usually shows up and always stands out, specializing in retail and hospitality design. That's nothing but ordinary. The studio weaves Indian heritage with modern aesthetics to craft immersive, experience driven spaces that don't just look good, but they feel good. With a love of storytelling and deep respect for cultural context, Arclane creates innovative environments that elevate brand identity and linger the memory after the selfie is taken. Run by, run by the team with wildly different personalities, creating chaos but somehow making it productive, the studio somehow manages to speak the same design language, even if one of the partner Karun from Bangalore occasionally forgets to show up in the presentation. Arclane forgive, they move on in the design. Let's welcome Arclane, where every space has a soul and every meeting might have a surprise slot twist.
Yeah. Uh, Good evening, everyone. I'm Bhanjan Patel from Akra Design Studio. And today I want to take you a quick flight through Story Designing Cafe at the Bangalore airport. A journey of Blackstone, Prasadam, vibes, and dealing with the authorities. So, our philosophy, yes, you can see, we don't just design, we solve the problems through the design. We ask a lot of questions. We watch how people move, what they need, and what they didn't know what they needed. Even every project become a collaborations between our imaginations and user experience and the client creations. So it's a simple process. We work on a research, analysis, design, and design development, and the real it's a part of our design process. So yeah, so we were given a 3,500 square feet, a blank space in one of the India's busiest terminals, surrounding by people who always in a rush, hurry, confused, and checking flights in every 5 minutes. So our client had a just one line and design brief. We want the people to come, feel likely they are sitting in the temple and eating prasadam. Very simple, right? So in the design process, our design process was like making sambar. You need to all the right ingredients into the right timings. So we started with the user behavior research, observing how the people move, where the light hits, where the emotional pause and happens before boarding. So this is the place as the site. You can see the whole red bunch of the area is our site. So we was there for a day or two just to understand the how people go from that to other place because it's the terminal. It's gate number 32 at the Bangalore airport. And we also studied temple architecture, street side dosa stalls, and modern retail interiors also. And narrative the where the tradition meets the travel. So in planning, finally, we functionally the challenge was to fit a live kitchen store and the sitting for 50 people. So we, while keeping the movement fluid, we designed it like a darshan path, open flow, sacred center, and we have 100 feet of entrance area, open facade. So we use that to understand the clients to come inside. So there are two, and we put the large two LED screens to showing the flight information because be honest, while you are the busy eating the world's best dosa place and taking 15 pictures of Instagram, you should know when you're boarding. So this is the plan. Uh, so we got 2,600 square feet at FOH areas for the sitting, and the back of house was 871. So the challenging part was at airport the gas line is not allowed, and this South Indian food parlor required a lots of gas inductions and the gas equipments. So somehow the team managed, and this is the whole kitchen designed by electric inductions. And the first time in the Bangalore they use in the South Indian Palais, and it's working well right now. For the design concept, so client brief was like they only came with one black stone in the design. So you think like working with a single material would be easy, but it's being told make 5 different dishes from one potatoes. So we had extract the design, depth, warmth, spirituality, and from the one material, the black granite was our hero also, but also our villain during the detailing stage. So as a design development, we these are way to working. It's our practice how we work. So we do lots of sketching and to understand the design, the situation of the site. So those are the initial sketch of the elevations of the place, and everything we have to make from the black stone only. So that also a different task. So those are the sketches, and this kind of model we have to build for the airport because they don't allow us every time to go to see the sites. So in normal case, like you doing working somewhere else, you can go and come back every time. So we need to create some. Every consultant come to the office, they don't allow us to go because of security reasons. So we make this kind of model to understand how the place gonna look like and how place is. And the very important part. So design airport is a different ball game altogether. Every week we had new personnel from the airport staff who didn't know even what Rameshwaram Cafe was. So we had to become designer and educator too. And they came to BMC Airport Project Management Consultants for they required GFC for everything, even for the screw and every inch needed little drawings they required. These are some of the drawings I want to show. And we got the 100 feet open space, so we created this is the facade. So we keep the facade semi-open with the iron jalis and letting people pick in and smell the filter coffee and feel the temple like calm. And everything from the finishes to the lighting was designed bring the prasadam experience, the quiet smile after you having darshan. So these are some of the 3D renders. You can see the whole facade with creating with the iron jalis to at least people, because outside the design is very contemporary and very hurry, very rushy. So when you see inside, you feel the calmness. So people want to jump in inside to just chill and relax, have a filter coffee. These are some of the renders. And these are some technical drawings. So for the mood board and all, every time we have to create a small single piece to approve the airport authority. So always we do a small detail prototype model, then we work at the site. Yeah. So when we're designing in the airport, one critical aspect is that everything must be dry graded. So this is the rental premises, and everything must be premises. And the next 3 to 4 years, the lease ends. They have to return space airport with original condition. So even in the small detail matter, every design elements must be reversible, non-invasive, and practically proper planned. So I just want to see, like you can see the whole wall getting with the rag ready. So all the wall elevations, even in the ceiling also, we can't use the material you can fix to the airport through ceiling. And one of the technical side, integrating the MEP services and HVAC system with the airport common lines were extremely sensitive, because here's the reality. If agency accidentally cuts the shaded service line, flight can be delayed or even cancelled. So our RCP layout was meticulously designed to the merge perfectly with the airport ceiling services and grids. Moreover, we had get approvals from the multiple authorities, including CISF, Fire Safety Department, and the airport operations. Each of them have their own protocols. For example, the Bangalore airport strictly prohibited right now use of the material is release the high carbons. The means like no laminates, no melamine polish or ACBs. These are the material we used to in the normal in the airport. There are specific materials you have to use. So these are the column airport column. The dry cladding we use this black stone. There was a vision that time to create those column to clad this area. And you can see the kitchen countertop also. Everything made from MS and we dry cladded with all the stones. So all the factors shaped one material palette and execution strategy. From black granite to copper accent, everything had to meet fire rating, air quality norms, and the removable in the future also. So we use copper as a metaphor as in diya. So if you see, when you're going in South Indian temple, they always have a black granite and small diyas. So we use as a metaphor copper as in diya, and we use the Shri Yantra as a design element in the ceiling part, and the final outcome. Yeah. So the space looks deeply rooted in the traditional yet speaking modern language. Warm, minimal, and welcoming Rameshwaram Cafe now sells 10 lakh rupees dosa every day. I mean, dosa is a religion, this will be a temple. So, yeah, so you can see the small elements we use as an to show how the diyas in mandir, and this is the outcome. And these are the brands right now. We had the pleasure to working with some of the best names in the F&B industry who have responded the faith in us. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Kanjan. Arcland Design Studio कॉफी के नशे करता है. So I think you would be aware till now कि buzzer को लेके हम कितने serious है. Like जितने serious हम site completion के time पे होते हैं. Time management इतना ही important है 10 for now के लिए, but I don't think so आपकी meeting के लिए इतना important होगा. So moving on to our next presentation by Space Karma. Space Karma is a design practice led by interior designer Shweta Jain, where they mix special and interior design with a whole lot of collaboration and just enough caffeine to keep things interesting. They believe our space should be as functional as it is fabulous, but also have a story to tell. Because let's face it, who wants a room that just looks good and have no personality? With an obsessive eye for detail, I swear we can spot a crooked picture frame from a mile away, and a commitment to quality that's borderline annoying. They create spaces that are not only smart but also feel right. In last 10 years they've tackled over 80 residential and commercial projects across Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Nashik, Karjat and Bangalore. Basically they have worked everywhere except your living room yet. Give it up for Shweta Jain.
That's the first. Hi, good evening, and thank you for having me here today. It's an honor to be here today and to be able to share design insights with some of the best from the industry. So, thank you very much. So, yes, we are all here today to discuss and share the design processes that we follow as a company while designing hospitality or a retail space. So, I am going to talk about the same, but I'm also going to highlight on some challenges that we commonly face, while we are navigating through this whole process. So, starting with what we follow, like in general as a company, the design process that we follow comprises of 3 steps, that is, define, design, and deliver. Uh, define, like the word states, is mainly something that revolves around identifying our clients' requirements, understanding their briefs, their necessities, going in detail to their lives, preferences. But how is it that we do this? We kind of give them a very detailed questionnaire because most of the time when clients come to us, they are bubbling and they have a million ideas hovering in them. And I think we can thank Instagram Reels and Pinterest for that. Yeah. So to kind of streamline their thoughts and make them more defined with their dreams, we give them this detailed questionnaire so that they can pen down everything over here. This makes it easier for us to identify the concept. This makes it easier for us to come up with inspirations, the mood boards, that we want to put across or propose to them. So yeah, I mean, the first step kind of simplifies a lot for them as well for us. The second step, like I call it design, it's a very broad spectrum. Yeah, it covers a lot of stages. Right from design iterations to design evolutions, material palettes, mood boards, working drawings, renders, estimates, a lot of it. I personally call this as the design la la land, because this is what we love doing the most, exploring ideas and going berserk with materials, forms, layers. But सब कुछ इतना अच्छा है तो फिर challenge कहाँ है, where is it that we face a challenge? So these are just the steps. Yeah, the challenge comes here that as designers, most of our days could look like this. You know, weekday, Saturday, Sunday, Easter, New Year, Christmas. We can practically just be doing design because we don't know sometimes where can we stop because there is no boundary, right? There is no limit as to where you can stop thinking beyond for design. So what we've done as a studio is, especially with hospitality and retail projects, where time is a challenge and we have to adhere to timelines. We've tried to divide the entire design stage into these very micro steps. We kind of use the app for that, and we set very reasonable, good timelines and milestones for each step. This is not to make us creatively not to bind us creatively, but it is to make us less focused, more focused, more aware of the time that we are putting into the evolution of a design, into the evolution of a concept. So this helps us achieve certain timelines, especially, most especially for hospitality and retail, what we are talking about today. Uh, yeah, uh, yeah, the third step definitely comes here, which is deliver, Deliver is nothing but executing what you've created on paper through sketches and through renders. And I think I'm echoing most of you here. That's the biggest pain point and the biggest challenge because it's whatever you do, I mean, there is something that's going to go wrong over there. There is something that you'll not be achieved. So what do you do to achieve a certain timeline in a hospitality or retail project? And at the same time, making sure you're not compromising on the quality, you're not compromising on the aesthetic, the designs, that's what we are known for. For larger projects, yes, there is a PMC, but what about the medium-sized projects? What about projects where we are involved, and it can get really critical. So for projects like those, yeah, we kind of maintain a SOP for the team, for us also, and for the contractors, where we have a checklist which each of us try to go through, try to check it out, so that we know we're not missing out on anything. We have lesser snack points at the end so that we are wasting less time. And we also run all the stages of our project through a project management app. So we divide all the phases into multiple small stages, and we again assign tasks, timelines to individual vendors, contractors, and the team. So this helps keeping everything more looped, everything more aligned, coordinated. It lessens the gaps in the execution process. Uh, so yeah, this is how we kind of, there's a basic process that we follow while we are designing any space, but especially while being a hospitality or retail. So I'm going to talk about a recently completed project. We designed for a temple architect. It's not a very large space. It's a 1200 square feet space, but I specially picked this one because the challenge was that it was a 1200 square feet space. And what they wanted was an immersive experience gallery. Not just an immersive experience gallery, but a space that also has workspaces, has conference rooms, and that kind of speaks of all that they've been doing, of their craftsmanship in each and every way. So the vision here was to create a sacred universe within the 1200 square feet space that we now very proudly call Beyond Stone and Silence, a name that is born from soul of the space. So the programmatic requirements were as above, like we read over here. They definitely wanted an experience gallery. They wanted a cabin as well. They wanted a pantry, reception, staff area, conference, AC hall, all of it. Because this was going to be the only experience gallery for a temple architect. There is no such experience gallery that any temple architect has to show or display the work that they've been doing. So this was extremely important to them. Um, well, this was a lot of requirement, and of course, we try to understand what is the site location and the facade that we were getting. We had like two sides which were completely glass facade. So obviously, we just had one wall to show the work, like in their walls, that they wanted everything to be shown over there. So, well, I cannot lie over here, but we started initially very conventional plan options. We kind of made these standard corporate office layouts. But then there was this nudge, what we designers have from within, कुछ तो नहीं सही जा रहा है, there's something यार, inspiration missing है, क्या हो रहा है, ये तो नहीं हो सकता है temple architect का office. So then what? I could have mentally revisited the times I've gone to temples, these large architectural temples, or the stories I've heard about temples, And there were these four words that continuously left this very strong impact in my mind, and these four words were Prithvi, Akash, Swarg, and Patal. Now, this is what I wanted to take forward. How is what we did is we started to reiterate the plan. We just decided that why have doors, why have doors to an office which is a temple architect's office? Why not be inspired by temples where there are no doors and the flow is just free? You just walk through the space and you experience the space, right? I mean, you are not restricted anywhere. So that's when we started layering the partitions. We created these indirect entries where there were spaces behind these partitions, but at the same time, each of these partition became an experience in itself. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we kind of deciphered these words a little further. We came down to resilience, afloat, grandeur, and hidden layers, And how we did this is these partitions are all made in marble. Yeah, so we would do curved partition maybe in ply, in any other material, but doing it in marble was the biggest challenge. But that is where we wanted to use their expertise. That is where we wanted to collaborate with them and bring in the best. And we've tried to keep them afloat. That was our inspiration from Akasha. The reason is we wanted to pull the light from the only facade that we were having into the experience gallery. So these partitions, these marble partitions are held by these metal members which have been wooden clad later. And at the same time, we've cut work these partitions to show their craftsmanship. So this doubles the light inside, but it also creates a very beautiful layer of light and shadow in the experience gallery. So if you see the floor and the partition and the ceiling goes in a similar coherence. And the idea was that right from the start of the office, right from the entrance, when you enter the office, you experience something. There is not just one wall to give them an experience. So I think, yeah, my time's up and I just quickly run through the images. So that's how the experience gallery looked. And this was the experience wall. Yeah, and there is marble work. We tried to use marble in every possible way to just show what they do and to show their expertise in it. Yeah, so I'll skin this pie.
Thank you, Shweta. The next presenter is Amok Design Studio. Amok Designs, held by the dynamic duo architect Pankti Shah and Shalvi Shah, is a multidisciplinary firm crafting architecture and interior that are soulful, stylish, and occasionally makes your relatives say, "Oh wow, kone karyu chhe?" They work across India and Australia because apparently they like long flights and even longer Pinterest boards. The duo makes function with feeling, rooted aesthetics with modern luxury. Basically, they are that rare combo of sensible and fabulous. Every project they take on tells a story. And yes, Amog is the one holding the pen and sometimes measuring tapes, coffee, and 3D renders all at once. Let's welcome the amazing duo Pankti Shah and Shalvi Shah.
Hello everyone and good evening. Thank you for being so patient and listening to us. So basically you have listened to all the introduction. So this is architect Pankti Shah from Amok Designs. To transform spaces into experiences that tell stories, evoke emotions, and truly connect with people. Today I will walk you through the Amog way, our process for creating retail and hospitality spaces, and share projects example where strategy and creativity came together to shape memorable customer experiences. At Amok, collaboration for us is foundational. Every project is shaped through close client engagement, ensuring outcome reflects our client vision and aspiration. We are committed to excellence at every phase, not just in the spaces we build, but in the trust we and the recognition we earn. Ultimately, for us, client satisfaction is the highest measure of success. At Amok, we believe design isn't just about aesthetics, it's strategic process. We synthesize our workflow in 6 key stages to ensure clarity, efficiency, and innovation. So the 6 stages, as you see, are site visits and client briefing, concept development, schematic development, design development, construction drawings, and execution. We will talk about this in the further presentation. So every stage is built on collaboration, working closely with clients, vendors, and internal team. Research and insights is where it all begins. Understanding why before we say what. We explore market trends, user behavior, and the brand's unique story. We define user persona and project objectives, ensuring our design serves both functional needs and emotional connections. So right now, let me take you to one of the recent projects what we did. It's a retail project. Fadori is a premium haute couture retail store in Ahmedabad. We designed an inviting yet high-end journey from facade to display zones, ensuring customer feels immersed in luxury shopping experience. Here where insight turns into a clear strategy roadmap. We identify the challenges, we map customer journeys, and we decide how the space will work before deciding how it will look. This stage ensures the design is purpose-led and not visually appealing only. So basically, this is a site analysis, conceptual development, and how we have gone through mood board to the real developing of the envelope. We always try to do different kind of fluid shapes and fluid organic material using. And always, as you know, retail has very short period which we have to finish. So we try and experiment a lot of material where we can finish our projects in the timeline, which is always less than 60 days or maybe probably 70 days. So now, after discussing this, let's discuss concept and development. The design concept stage is where creativity takes shape, mood boards, color palette, and material inspiration. In design development, these ideas become tangible solutions. From our experience, there are 5 important interconnected pillars that elevates design function in any retail project. And those 5 elements are: first, mastering light. As Mr. Prakash told, and he had very short time, but of course, light is most important thing in retail. Lighting shapes mood, focus, and even sales. Well-designed lighting at ambience can increase your sales up to 40%. That is some statistics which we have already researched through the projects. Second point, seamless flow, guiding customer naturally through the space. Example, well-designed circulation path improves engagement, increases sales, and creates an intuitive shopping experience. Third, captivating gaze, creating a focal point that instantly draws attention. Example, a feature element wall, which will guide you through the path, showcase key products, and influence buying behavior by putting the hero product at eye level. Also, very focused lighting does this. Fourth point, beyond transaction, making spaces interactive and memorable. Example, interactive screens for product exploration or multisensory environments that simulates light, sound, touch, and all the multisensory environment. Okay, thank you. So basically, this is where we use lot of automation, lot of sensory items like touch screens and LED screens, which will, mix in the environment and show you a lot of different details. And the fifth point is defining purpose. Zoning for different experiences with one space. Example, optimizing traffic flow, highlighting products, and creating smooth transitions into varied zones. So these are very short points. These are very, very, very short. I have made it to just give you a gist of what we do. There's long research and process which goes into it, but I've tried to make it short. So when these 5 pillars work together, they transform commercial spaces into destinations. These are the most important factors that drive both design and functionality. in retail and hospitality projects. So these are the detailed executions what we have done. So each and every elements what are designed are with respect to the concept, with respect to the focal points, with respect to the circulation and the zoning. Design realization is all about precision, bringing the vision to life on site. We coordinate with vendors, artisans, and contractors, ensure timelines are met, and maintain strict quality control. Our feedback loops are constant, refining the design as we go to ensure the finished space remains true to the original vision. This, let me go through the site. Yeah, this was the finished site. I don't know, there's some color error which has come in the photos, but this was the finished site. If you see, always in retail spaces, we have a lot of function and lots of requirements which we have to finish in small spaces. This was approximately 2,000 square feet showroom.
Here. Point.
Okay, done. Not.
Let's start with that. Maybe should be upgraded. Which side you want to do it?
Next. Next. Yeah. Next. 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 Next.
Wait.
Okay. This is also one of the recent projects what we have done. It's Izora, a lab-grown diamond showroom. Our focus was on elegance and trust using lighting, layout, and materials to guide customer through a seamless buying journey, enhancing both customer and customers for comfort and exclusivity. It's a lab-grown diamond showroom, and it's very minimalistic made and in a modern way to showcase how the modern generations could go through diamond, which is obviously something which is heritage, but how to modernize it. This is one of the recent projects again, La Patron, a rooftop fine dine in Ahmedabad, blending Roman European grandeur with modern drama, gothic interiors, bold sculptures, and a moody, intimate atmosphere. Turn dining into a theatrical experience that encourages guests to linger. So here we have tried to create a fine dine with very low lighting, focused lighting, and lot of circulation places and lot of places to take selfies and enjoy cozy dinners. The other project what you see here is a farm organic cafe, a hybrid hospitality retail space for an organic brand. We merged biophilic design, earthy tones, and sustainable materials to reflect their organic ethos. Every zone from cafe sitting to retail displays was planned for flow, comfort, and brand storytelling. So this is one of the recent cafe transitioned into retail space where you can experience the luxury of the organic products at retail space. Lastly, but here, I just want to say at Amok Designs, every space is strategic creation where research, planning, and creativity meets collaboration. For fellow designers, vendors, and students, my message is design holistically, innovate fiercely, and never lose sight of the story your space is telling. Thank you so much. This is Sangeeta.
We had some rich designs and rich smoothies by Hope. Now presenting the next presenter, FRDC, rated as one of the top 50 retail design firms globally. Yes, they are called humble and impressive. Future Research Design Company, or FRDC if you are in a hurry. It's a 360-degree design powerhouse with a mission to make brands look smarter, sharper, and way a lot cooler. They don't just design pretty spaces. FRDC deep dive into research because winging it isn't really their vibe. Unless it's a brainstorming session, then all bets are off. With a research led approach that's more detective work than decoration, they have brands uncover their true potential and then design like they mean it, from product to services to spaces that stop people in their tracks FRDC is where strategy meets style and every decision has a purpose. Let's welcome FRDC, where design isn't just a look, it's a master plan with better lighting.
Uh, Hello, everyone. Thank you for the introduction and thank you for the opportunity to speak here. I'm Ruchi Mehta, Design Director at FRDC. FRDC is an exclusive retail design firm. In the past 18 years, the portfolio consists to closely 200 brands that we work with, and hence the brands come from all shapes in our sphere, from apparel to automobile, from cement to light fixtures, you name it, and probably we would have at least crossed some paths. So, which also means that we work with variety of retail formats, which includes experience centers, which includes flagship stores, which includes neighborhood stores, which includes pop-ups. So there's a variety of retail formats that we have worked with. Our process typically is a research-led process, as was already introduced. For us, research is very important because brands actually come to us specifically when they want to reposition themselves in the market. And that is where research comes into place, because it is very important to understand what is going on in the competitive market, what is going on with the changes that are happening in the target audience, and that's what we bring in terms of research to the brands that we work with. So the process typically begins with research and arriving at a brand strategy. Of course, then it goes into the typical standard process where we then showcase concepts to the brand. That gets then, once the concept is approved, it goes into design development, of course, prototyping, because in retail, the kind of brands that we work with, sometimes brands would have not even onboarded the franchises or dealers. They might have not signed the leases, and we will still have to develop all the design. So prototyping happens, that then moves into pilot store design, and of course, if the brand requires, we are there to do the rollouts. Or if we are not doing the rollouts, we will just create a manual for them and hand it over for the multiple rollouts. Okay. So the brand that we've chosen to talk about today is called Linen Club. It's an Aditya Birla brand. We specifically chose this brand to talk about today because, we are at an academic platform sort of today, and what we wanted to show and focus was the methodology that we follow. We've been associated with Linen Club for more than a decade now. The first format came up in 2014, and we've recently done the revamp for that in 2024. Lots of stores have opened over the years. The brand currently has more than 200 outlets across the country. So if you see here, you'll see a minor but important change from 2014 to 2024. For a brand, it is very important to not alienate their existing customers while they are revamping, and hence very subtle but important changes are usually required when it comes to revamping the stores. Yeah. So, as I said, for us, the process usually begins with research, and what it means is we are getting into the details of who is the target audience. Now, the brand already has a very loyal customer base, which comes from from a specific age group, which comes from a specific segment of the community. But the brand realized that they were losing out on the younger audience currently. And for those who might not know, Linen Club is basically a menswear brand which is exclusively linen fabric. That's what they said. So till now they were only selling fabric and providing tailoring services. They realized that they needed to change that. They needed to bring in ready-to-wear segment in the retail stores, because the younger audience, the study that they had also conducted told them that the ready-to-wear segment is what is the younger audience would prefer. So with that, as I said, for us, it begins with understanding the target audience. And when I say
target audience, we really do a deep dive into their lifestyle. What are their pain points? What are their concerns? How do they really shop? And what else do they do in their lives to be able to understand? Sometimes what to do might not be the obvious answer when we do this, but what not to do is definitely clear when we get into a detailed understanding of the target audience. Typically, after doing this research, we come to something that we call key design drivers. Now, when we work with brands like this, there are multiple stakeholders. It's not one client, it's not one solely. Right from CEO's vision to the store manager, everyone is involved. And they bring their understanding of how to run the business into what they're doing. So, the key design drivers are arrived at through multiple workshop kind of formats and research that we do with them. And in this case, because how did I done that? What do we need to do in terms of space, fixtures, and sitting? What do we need to do in terms of in-store communication? What we needed to do in terms of lighting and technology, as well as overall experience. What was concluded in this particular case was that a lot more ready-to-wear segment had to be brought in, and a lot more hanging devices and fixtures had to be brought in that needed to be made slightly front of the store. In terms of in-store communication, people used to have concerns in terms of the washability, in terms of in general garment care. So we had to bring in in-store communication that would help the store manager deal with those kind of questions. Then of course lighting was going to be very important here because one, it is linen fabric, and the colors have to work correctly, as we saw here later mentioned. In terms of overall customer experience, what was required and it was decided that was needed to be done was to make it a notch more premium than where it was earlier. Make it a little more lighter and airy overall in this space, and not only make it, which used to be a more transaction-oriented space, convert it into a little bit more of a fashion-led kind of a store environment. So this is how usually our design processes. Once we have arrived at the design drivers, what we are catering for is a customer journey, and the customer journey really involves attracting them to come into the store. That's where the storefront design becomes very important. Once someone enters the store, then establish is a very important aspect, because they need to understand that this is exactly what I'm going to get out of this store. Then comes the inspire, which is visual merchandising, and how do you display the merchandise to be able to inspire them to buy more. I always say, if someone comes to the store and buys more than the they intended, then there are usually designers like us that are being that. So then browse, engage, and accomplish. Accomplish is a very important aspect, because there are times when people come to the store, they shop for 2 hours and they just leave the store because the checkout line was probably longer. And so that is also a very important part of the ACS. So with that, once the research and the clarity of what we are trying to achieve is there, we move into the design concepts. In this case, this design was titled Pergola Panorama as a concept, which essentially meant that the space needed to be a little bit more airy, use more linear elements to make it look lighter than what it was earlier, bring in the teal color which the brand was evolving into, and which sort of communicated their connection to the European roots, and that's how the palette was developed. So as you see, and as we have seen in all the projects, once the concept is agreed upon, again, as I said, it's a multi-stakeholder team that is involved. So it has to be there has to be a right that everyone has to agree to that this is the direction that we are taking. And the design of everything, right from storefront to the fixtures to the lighting, is discussed very thoroughly. And then comes the process of identifying the materials and the fixtures. Now, when you're working with a brand like this, there are a very different mindset that is required, and that is precisely because there are going to be 500 stores that are coming up across the country. So, cost effectiveness, ease of construction, all those become very important aspects. And then, of course, fixtures are designed, what is the density of the display, what is the hierarchy of the display, all this become very important, and that's what we bring to the decision making. And that brings me to the last page, which is the tea. Okay. So finally, this is the final outcome of the showroom. As you can see, it is just a touch different, notch different from the existing formats, but it is a solution that is simple. It is a solution that is strategic, a solution that is smart, which is led by a design research process, and it is collaborative in nature. And it is easy to roll out multiple outlets when we come up with smart solutions. Thank you.
The next presenter for the evening is Astha Design. Astha Design Consultants has been jazzing up interiors since 2003. Ever since the designer duo Premath and Bidhi Nagori graduated from APID and decided the world needed less beige and more colors and more beauty. Since then, they have taken on just about everything, from cozy homes to fancy boutiques, offices that almost make you want to work, weekend homes you never want to leave, and even exhibition stalls that somehow steal the show. The firm is serious about great design and even more serious about using local resources, with a deep understanding and respect for tradition and a knack for making spaces feel both rooted and relevant. Asta is all about designing with heart, soul, and just the right number of pillows and throws. So, बड़े आस्था से स्वागत करें प्रेमल and Bindinagar.
Thank you, Amula, for the lovely introduction. Good evening, everyone. First of all, we are very thankful to Triple ID for giving this platform to showcase our work. Today, we are presenting two of our jewelry stores which are located in Ahmedabad. Premal will explain you in detail. Over to you, Prem.
Thank you very much. બિંદી આજે મને બોલવાનો ચાન્સ આપ્યો. So as she said, today we are talking about the jewelry stores. So I think so now understand, first of all, to understand, we do privately owned jewelry stores which comes under the luxury segment of the retail interiors. Here there is more of customization and less of standardization. Understanding the process that we do while starting the designing of a jewelry store. So it's a routine process of meeting a client, knowing what type of jewelry that they are dealing with. It is either gold, silver, diamond, charter. The type of jewelry itself becomes the starting point for us for the conceptualization designing process. Then comes the second part, the location of the store, area of the store, how much square feet it is, and then we start the zoning of it. The zoning normally is done in two ways. One is by the type of jewelry. Now, type of jewelry means gold, diamond, jartar, silver, all type of jewelry. If it is one, then there is no problem. But most of the jewelry owners have multiple products. So normally diamond is segregated because it requires special ambience and the type of lighting that it want to be in.
Thanks to our title partner Focus, they have a very good solutions for the appropriate lighting of for the type of jewelry it is required for. Second part of zoning is price of jewelry. Now, why price of jewelry? Just suppose દેવદત્તભાઈ શૈલી માટે 50 લાખની જ્વેલરી લેવા ગયા. અરે શૈલી અરે છે નહીં એટલે હું ખાલી કહી રહ્યો છું. એ લઈ રહ્યા છે. બાજુમાં હું બી ગયો બીજા બાજુના કાઉન્ટર પર અનલાઇકલી છે બેવ સિનારી. હું ફક્ત 40,000ની માંગી રહ્યો છું, સાહેબ 50 લાખની માંગી રહ્યા છે. Now that makes an awkward situation for both of them. So that's why zoning of the jewelry also matters. Now once we are through with all the zoning, વાસ્તુ કન્સલ્ટન્ટ ફર્મ છે. આપણે જેટલું zoning કર્યું ને બધું. But going through our project, now first project that we would be talking about is the Jinjuwadia Jewelers. It is located at Shivdalni, Ahmedabad. Since their earlier project at the CG Road was also done by us, so it was easy for all of us to agree upon our theme and material palette as contemporary interiors with the traditional elements infused in it. So as we talked about the zoning in the first part, in the layout, the first part is reception, that is cash counter and the waiting area. Second one is for the lightweight jewelry section area. Third part is the bridal section area, and the fourth part is the private area which has main office, back office, utilities, safe, etc. The elements ideally that we worked upon, the inlay and the recessed work in the marble in the front facade. The flooring, we used local craftsmen, artisans in the flooring for the entrance part, which is an inlay design. In the bridal section, we have used wood, marble and Jaisalmer stone in a pattern form. We used space dividing elements as wooden column, glass mesh inspired from our pole houses. There are types of displays too. This is for the lightweight jewelry section area, and this is for the bridal section jewelry area. Now, bridal section jewelry area display is ornamental for the obvious reasons. Now, it also encloses, bridal area also encloses a section where bride to be can try the jewelry with the outfit that they have selected. So in this particular frame, we can see the all the elements that we have used. There are it's more like an experience for someone who is selecting jewelry for the occasion. So she will be sitting in a space which has got a frame, specially hand painted with the motifs of birds and floral. It has got a area which the outfit can be kept and it can be tried upon. Just going through the detail of this further in the pics that is following. Another project that we have chosen again, it is also for the similar requirements of jewelry, but this one is a small showroom with a 500 square feet, and this time our mood board was very different. It had a European theme decor. The layout consisted of a one entrance part, which is one entrance which had a reception and waiting with one island counter as the epicenter of the space, and one enclosed space again for the selection as a private area. In this, the elements that you walked upon are in the front facade. It is located at City Road on the first level. So the elements had to be chosen in the similar language that we had done. Moldings and buttas, LED glass light fixtures. The flooring is done in the Moroccan printed tiles. The detailing in the ceiling for the theme, ornamentally done cornices as well as the chandeliers. The island display unit, which I said is the epicenter of the space, and entirely a bold emerald green interiors. Again, going through the details of this. Team वगैरह कहीं ना आए. So, thank you, our team. Thank you very much.